Hello everyone, welcome to Titan Academy. In this business use case, we will demonstrate how to build a multi-object and level document, and we will play with interactivity as well. Okay, so we have our Word document open and we'll be using the Titan add-in for Word. So getting it into your Word is very simple. You just head over to Insert, Get Add-ins, and just search Form Titan and add it to your Word. I have previously added it, and we will head over to Form Titan. We'll click it. Let's start, and we'll log in. You can log in with Salesforce as well. Okay, I have two-factor authentication, so I'll grab that. All right, and we're in. Okay, now let's take a look at what we have here in the document. So we have a couple of pages, some table information, and we'll review exactly what we're doing in just a moment. You can see we have a barcode here as well. So click Insert Barcode. We're bringing in some barcode. You could use QR code as well. We're going to bring in the account ID. We'll map it to the barcode, and we'll generate that once the document is generated. We have a system field over here. So if we'll click Insert Edit Field, you can see this is using the now system field. So it's not mapping from an object. It's just a system field, and we configure the format to this guy. Okay, let's take a look at what we're doing here. So I'll hit the preview, and that will show me which objects I'm working with. So I'll have, first of all, the opportunity object, then I'm bringing in contacts and bringing in opportunity line item from that opportunity. So the opportunity mapping is pretty simple. We've seen it in the previous videos. So it's just a matter of inserting a field. We have the field data directly from the object. So in this instance, we're bringing it from the primary contact on the opportunity, and we're mapping in the full name of that contact. And this one is the opportunity account name. So again, if we'll click the edit, we see the account name down here. So we mapped it to the account ID since this is how it's related to it, to the opportunity, and we mapped in the account name, and we hit save. Okay, let's move on. So more simple mapping. Let's move into the interesting things. So we have here a Salesforce table. And if I'll click Insert Edit Table, we can see that we map data from the account contacts. Now, what does this mean? We want to pull out the opportunities related to an account, and we want to bring in all that account contacts. So if I'll head over to my Salesforce, and I'll take a look at this opportunity, for instance, and I'll look at the details, I can see that this is related to the Dickinson Place account. And this account has 6 contacts in it. So we want to pull in the account, and we want to bring in its contacts into a table in Salesforce. Now let's take a look at the table for a second. In the table, you can set once you have a ton of options here, and take a look at the question marks. We can't review everything since it will take hours, so it just shows you how to get started and where to find what. So let's say, for instance, you want to define the format of anything. Whatever you bring in, you can decide what format it is. So for instance, if this field will be an image, and an image could be from a file, from a rich text, and from a URL. So let's say this field will be a URL to an image, so you could just say it's an image, and then you hit apply, and it will give you which width and height you want to do it, and we'll render that image for you. If you want to set conditions, so you have a few options here. You can either set a cell condition that will decide when to show the value or not, and you can do also, for instance, if this value matches, then if you want to use a static something, or you can use a filled value from over here. You can go wild with this, and again, question mark, you can learn more over here as well. Same for multi-conditions, just click the question marks and it will take you to a quick video of how it's done. The column condition, for instance, and this is an important thing, and I'll explain a little bit. Say you want to hide an entire column. So let's say in our instance, we're bringing in opportunity product. So you can't go to the actual opportunity product itself and check if something exists or not. I mean, you could, it just doesn't make any sense. What you want to do is use the parent object, for instance, an opportunity, and say if the opportunity matches something, if it equals, in my instance, let's say the name equals to something, or obviously use something more meaningful that fits your business logic, then if it equals this, then it will show the column. Otherwise, it will hide the entire column of that opportunity. Or you can do, you can use hiddens. So for instance, if I'll close this out and I'll add a hidden field, so you can add something static, and again, question marks. I'm just showing you where everything is so you can go deep into every feature at your own time. So you can use either something static, and that will be the value of your hidden. So let's say hide column, and that will be your value, and then you can say if this hidden equals to this, then hide or show it. Or you could do dynamic and grab it from Salesforce. One important thing when you grab hiddens from Salesforce, do not use current data mappings that you have. So for instance, opportunity line items are mapped to the table, contact mapped to the table, opportunity op, we're using it to bring in data for the document. So let's say if you want to bring in a different object, or even if you want to bring in an opportunity, do not use the one you have, create a new one, and that will be data for hidden. Or just say hidden. And then you will select your field. Let's say you would want to bring in the account ID, and you can set a reference to whatever you want, account name. And then if I'll save this and I'll head back to my table, so insert edit table, and I'll go over here, say column condition, and you can use it with any condition you have, and then you can do hide column equals blah blah blah, and if it meets the condition, it will show the column. If not, it will hide the column. Same goes for row condition. You can set a condition when to show the row, when not to show it. Very simple. It's just going to hide or show your row. Actually, with the row condition, you can do also like so. So let's say select the entire row. You can insert a condition and say it directly from here. If something happens with the object, let's say if the name equals something, then if it equals this, then show. If not, hide. So you can do a row condition directly from here as well. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've mapped here. So sorry, insert edit table, and the rich text, we mapped it to an image. So let's take a look at the format for this, and you can see you have parse a Salesforce image. That's another way to tell Titan when you render from a rich text, you can tell Titan, please parse it from Salesforce. So you hit apply, and that will bring us the image. Let's see a few more things over here, and we'll publish the form and we'll start playing around with it. So here we have a table, and I'll click insert edit table, and we're bringing in opportunity product information. We want to bring it from the opportunity that we will show the detail from, and we're mapping in the product code, quantity, and total price to that table. Just pay attention to the fact that we're in Word, so you can design this however you like, and we'll bring that in for you. So you can go to table design. Let's say we want to design this guy like so. So we can put it like this. Just ignore my beautiful formatting here, so we'll keep it like so. Okay, moving on. We'll scroll down to the bottom. We see we have a signature, and we want to bring in full name, email of the primary contact and account manager from interactive fields on the form. And I'll show you how we do this in just a second. Okay, so let's start reviewing this. And before we do so, one more thing on the table. So if I'll head over here, say this table, and go to form title, insert edit table, and we'll take a look at the bottom. You have distinct and split table. So quick words on these two. So the distinct, what it will do, let's say in our instance, we're bringing in opportunity products. And as we all know, opportunity products can be duplicated a couple of times. So let's say you want to bring in a distinct opportunity product by the product ID. So you could go like this and say, only bring in one of, and we can match it by the product ID. Then if we have multiple opportunity line items of the same product ID, then it will bring us just one for that row. This is for that table. This is an amazing feature, and again, question mark, it will show you exactly how to do it. The split table acts like a group by, so you can group by whatever you decide. So you could say, again, if you have multiple product codes or product IDs, so you can group by into one section of the table by the product ID, and then you can also insert the table header, insert the footer as well, and click the question mark over here, and we'll show you exactly how you can use this. All right, so let's publish this. And before we publish, let's get rid of our hidden. We don't really need it, so we'll delete it. And let's refresh. Okay, great. So let's take a look at our filter. So we're at the publish, and I didn't attempt to preview it since we're using interactive fields over here, and the preview is not going to really show what we want to see. So we will preview it directly from the Titan form. So our first condition is great. Opportunity ID equals record ID. That's wonderful, and we want to bring in the first record since this is our main object. And if you want to switch between them, let's say you created a bunch of objects and now you want to switch, so you can just grab it and drag and drop and change the order, and then you will be able to decide what is your main object. On the second one, let's hit on the filter, and we can see we don't have a condition over here. So what we want to bring in, as we discussed previously, we want to say the account ID on the contact equals the number one opportunity. So this is our first get account ID. So right now it will bring to the table whatever we have on that opportunity account ID, whatever contacts we have on that account. And opportunity line items, very similar. So we'll say opportunity ID on the opportunity line item object equals our number one opportunity, our first get, and then we'll say opportunity ID. All right, so our filters are sound. Now let's just publish this to a new form. So we will say multi-doc. We'll call this multi-object doc, and we'll do also and we'll publish. Now I'll head into my Form Titan account, and I can immediately see I have my form directly from the Word edit. We can see that the hidden was added automatically, so we have a record ID hidden. This is what we used for our first condition in the opportunity. And if I'll take a look at the Salesforce integration, I can see that I have opportunity contact and opportunity line item. Wonderful. Let's head over to our document generation, word mapping, configure, and see what we have. We want to preview it from here, so we'll do preview before submit. And again, notice these question marks. very, very easy way to learn. In a minute, we'll publish it to Salesforce as well, and I'll show you how you can see it from Salesforce. We'll hit apply, and let's take a look. We will notice that our hidden, the FLD ID for this hidden field ID is FLD2. So I'll publish this. I'll grab this URL, and I'll put a question mark, and I'll say FLD2 equals my opportunity ID. I'll hit enter, and it will automatically submit and preview my form. And here is our barcode rendered. Everything looks great. This is the primary contact. So if I'll take a look at the primary contact, I can see it's Chief Donkey here, and everything is mapped. And let's take a look at our contacts. Here is the image for this guy. The rest don't have. This is why it didn't bring it. All of our contacts, and here is our products. Let's make sure everything is correct. So we have 2 products, and if we'll head over to the account, we can see we have 6 contacts. And let's see this guy, and here is our image within the rich text of the contact, and this is what we mapped to our table. Wonderful. If I'll scroll down a little bit more, we can see we do not see the signature. It's not interactive. We cannot sign it. Let me show you how we can get this done. So I'll head back to the form and word mapping, signature interactive, and I'll say enable signature interactive, and I'll say convert to PDF using Titan 1. And you can use Office 365 or Titan 2. In my instance, Titan 1 is great. So I'll save this and refresh, and now we will see the interactive preview are loading. So after this loads, I'll show you how we can use the dynamic interactive fields from within the document. All right, so we see our signature, we can sign, confirm, and everything is great. And once we hit continue, we'll submit our form. Currently, we do not have anything in the push. So if we'll take a look at the push, we don't have anything here. We'll add that in just a moment, and we'll save the form, the document, the rendered document in Salesforce. What we want to do next is add some interactive fields to the full name, email for both of these. So the primary contact and the account manager, we want to have these interactive so the user will be able to fill this in and sign the document and send it off to Salesforce. Okay, so we'll head back to our form, and what we will do here is let's put the record ID over here, and we'll put text box, and we'll call this pay contact first name, and this will be pay contact last name. And let's clone this over here and over here, and we'll call this account manager first name, that will be last name, and we'll do the same thing for this guy over here, so that will be account manager first name. And we'll save our form. One thing we can do is hide per device, and we can do it for each and every one of these. In my instance, since I want to do things quickly, so I can put everything in a section, and then I will just hide the section. We don't need to show it. These happens behind the scenes. So we'll do hide per device, and we'll hit save. And if we'll refresh our form, we will see nothing different. Everything is great. Let's head back to our Word over here. And this is a table, and it's important to do this with a table since it's easier for us it's easier for us to design it with a table. So I'll go to borders and shading. I'm just going to show you how this table looks like. It's really simple. We'll hit OK. We have the full name and email, and what we want to do here is add an interactive field. So we'll head over to the Titan bar on the top and we'll say insert edit interactive field. And from here we will select, you can either select the document field and again click the question mark. This is for Titan sign. In our instance, Titan doc, we want to bring in a field from the document. So we'll say multi-object doc interactive. This is the name of our doc, and here is our the primary contact last name, account, primary contact first name, and account manager last name. So we'll map this one to the primary contact first name. We actually we should have brought in the email, so we'll change that around. Let's just map it to the first name, and we will change the last name to primary contact. Let's change it to email, and you can also change the field to email, and we'll hit apply, and we'll do the same for this guy. So we'll say primary account manager email, and we'll change this guy to email as well. So we will have values to make sure that the email is correct, and we'll head back over here, insert an interactive field, and we'll select our form, and we'll do primary contact email over here as well, and we'll do the same thing for the account manager. So insert edit interactive field. So we'll do first name, and that will be our account manager email. Okay, great. So what I will do right now is just save this, and I'll publish again existing form, and I'll click my form that I want to publish it to, and I'll hit publish template. It will ask me if I want to override, and I will say yes. Great, the publish is done. The only thing I gotta do is head over here and refresh my form, and now the document will load, and in a second I'll show you how we can pull this information from Salesforce if you want to pre-fill it. So what we will do is we'll pre-fill the first name and the contact email, and for the account we will let the user fill it in. Okay, so our document is loaded, and you can see that it's the offset, it's a little bit not right, and I'll show you how you can configure this in just a moment. So what we get over here, now we can fill in the data, and we can see that the email rule immediately kicked in, and we can do the same thing here, and once we submit, it will run whatever we have on the submit. Okay, first thing first, let me show you another cool thing about the interactive field. So let me just remove the borders here. And let's make it could be 12. Same thing over here. Okay, and let's save this guy, and let me show you something cool about the interactive field. So I'll head over back to Titan, and I'll click insert that interactive field, and you can see that I can decide from over here if it's mandatory or not. So if you make this mandatory, whenever you get the preview, the user will have to fill in this field. So this is really cool. And if you want to make your signature mandatory, you can do the same from over here. So if we'll head back to the form settings, document generation, configure, and signature interactive, and you can make your signature mandatory directly from here. Now let's talk about, let me just publish this. So we'll publish the template, we'll override, and let's just talk about how you can design it. So how you can control the placements, because many times it will be off from where you want it to be. So if you click on anything interactive here, and you will go to the style, and you will scroll down, selected the wrong element, so let's select our text here, and we'll head over to the style, and you can see interactive margin. So you can decide if you want how much you want it to margin from the top in pixels, left or right in pixels. And then you can also select the size, what's the width and height for that in the interactive document. So if I'll take a look at this guy, I can now say I want this to go up, let's say 10 pixels. Let's do 10 pixels each, and we'll leave it just like that. So we'll do minus 15, and this will be also interactive margin minus 15 as well, and same goes for these guys, minus 15. So that should take us up 15 pixels, minus 15, and we'll save this and we'll refresh, and in a second we'll show this. Meanwhile, what we want to do is we want to bring in the contact first name and contact email directly from Salesforce. So what we can do over here is we'll head over to our Salesforce integration, head over to our get, and I'll edit this guy, and I'll take off the use and custom action button, and I'll take a look at my condition, and I'll set it. I'll say CRM field opportunity ID, the opportunity ID from Salesforce equals to my record ID hidden. And I'll head over to the mapping, and I'll map P contact email to the primary contact on the opportunity object, and we'll map it to the first name. That goes to the email, so we'll map it to the email. We'll hit apply, and primary contact first name, we'll map it again to the primary contact, and we'll map it to the contact first name. Wonderful. And we can map in the account data also. Let's just leave it as it is. We'll apply and finish. We'll save this. And let's take a look at our margins, and we can see it went up 15 pixels, and we can do this one 17 and this one less. You get the idea of how to control this. Okay, let's refresh this, and now we'll see our mapping happen. So we'll refresh it. And a few more words about the interactives. Keep in mind that you can dictate if these are mandatory or not also through the form. So you can set a condition saying if something happens, let's say if the current field contains blah blah, then go ahead and go to the contact email and make it mandatory. Or you can do show hide. Just keep in mind if you show and hide, then it's not going to be shown on the form. We have detailed videos about how to use these features, very powerful. Okay, so we'll head over here, and if I'll scroll down, we can see that we have our first name and email coming directly from Salesforce, and we can add the data over here and confirm. And if I'll try hit continue, then I can see that the account email is not correct. So I'll do something like this, and I'll be able to submit. So let's set our simple submit on the form. So I'll head over to the Salesforce integration, push, add object. Let's create a file, and we'll create And let's map our fields. We'll give it a title. And in my instance, I'll do something static. I'll say cool doc. And I forgot to map the rest, so we'll do first published location ID to my record ID, which in our instance is the opportunity. And the data, the actual document body will come from our, it will go to version data, and it will come from our Word mapping. So we'll hit apply and finish. We'll save this. We'll refresh. And once this loads, I will push the document into Salesforce. And after that, I will show you how you can connect this to the Salesforce environment using the Titan package for Salesforce. Okay, so we'll scroll down, we'll do our signatures, and we'll fill in some information, and we'll do the account email, and we'll hit confirm. And once I will hit continue, it will push my form to Salesforce. So I'll take a look at the integration logs, and we can see we have a submission and our file was created. So I can click over here and go to Salesforce, or I can head over to my opportunity, refresh it, and here is my cool document. So I'll click this guy and I have my preview. Everything is generated. Here is our interactive fields. Okay, this is perfect. Now let's say you want to view this document directly from within Salesforce using the Titan package for Salesforce. So I have the Titan package already installed here, and it's really simple to install it. You just go to the Salesforce App Exchange and search for Titan, and it will bring in the result. Or you can go to your My account and your Titan account, head over to DocGen SSO. You have the link to the App Exchange. One note, after you install it, make sure you come back here, hit save, and you get the updated message and you're good to go. Also important to have the API enabled and the submission on the API enabled as well. The only thing we'll have to do is before we can see it on the object itself, we'll have to give permissions to that user to view it. So right now we don't see it. Let's head to our My account, and in order for you to do it, you will head over to My account, collaborators, and then you can add collaborators from Salesforce. That will add your users directly from Salesforce, and then you can decide to which user you let submit which document. So it will be dependent on the user who can see what document. Or you can also give a permission for an entire profile. So for instance, you can select a profile from Salesforce and say, let's say this profile can view all of these documents. And whatever user that belongs to this profile, whenever it clicks FD generate document, will be able to see these documents for generation. In my instance, I already have my user added. So I'm just going to click on my user. I'll head over to submissions, click submit, give the submit permission to the multi-doc interactive, hit update, and if I'll head to my opportunity, I'll click FD generate document, and one thing, and here it is. Multi-object doc interactive. One thing I need to show you also to make sure that you configure on the form itself before this happens. So from here you can click preview, you can email it, and that will pull up your preview. We can email it directly from here. In our instance, it's interactive, so there is no reason to generate it since the interactive fields will not be there. Just to show you the general idea here. One thing to make sure before you start using it with a button, you need to head over to your word mapping. We usually do that for you, but just to cover all bases, you head over to word mapping, hit configure, select your object. In our instance, the main object is opportunity, and we want to map the data from the record ID hidden, and that will give you the ability to view it over here together with the collaborator permission. You have a lot more options over here. Just feel free to click the question marks, and it will take you to all the details on that function. You can also generate it from Apex, from Process Builder, from a workflow. Again, just feel free to click these guys, and they will take you to a detailed description of what that function does. And this is how it's done.